So here's the situation. I want to set the stage for you. I was a district manager in retail at the time. Imagine malls back in the 1990s. I was in a specialty retail. I was visiting a store that I supervised. I told the store manager that I supervised, hey, I'm going to drop by today. I'm going to visit your store. I know it's going to be super busy. In fact, I think it was Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So I was just going to stop by the store and help out. Not really a boss supervisor day to where I was going to pick up the clipboard, check a bunch of things. It was more like I was just going to help customers and just be there to support the manager. That's kind of what you did back when Black Friday was super busy in retail. Anyway, I go to the store. I'm standing up front and I'm just, visiting with some employees, chatting with a few customers. And this kid comes up. We'll call him Johnny. And back then, this was music retail, by the way. You used to have to actually drive to a location and buy your music. I know you millennials probably think that's weird, but this is before downloading and all the rest of it. Anyway, it was music retail. This kid comes up. I'm standing in the front of the store. And I said, hey, how you doing? I'm Steve. I'm the district manager. And he introduces himself, Johnny. And I said, okay, Johnny, so what are you zone? Like, what's your zone? Are you supposed to be, where are you supposed to be? He goes, I'm supposed to be back there in the video section, back there in the movie section, which is in the back, like right corner of the store. And I was like, okay, well, why don't you head on back to the video section? I'm just going to chill out up front here and, maybe help greet some customers and just kind of keep an eye on things. And so he moseys on back to the back. 5 minutes later, he's back up front, standing next to me. Keep in mind, it's a pretty big store, probably, well, not a huge store. This is not like a Target or a Walmart. Let's call it 3,000 square feet. All right. There's probably maybe 8 or 10 associates on the floor. He comes back up front. He's standing next to me. I'm like, what? Johnny, like, what? Okay, look, there's already a greeter up front. I'm kind of up front. We don't need you up front. Okay, why don't you head on back to the video section? He gets a little annoyed. He kind of gives me a little smart ass look, and kind of puffs out his chest a little bit and walks back to the video section. I'm like, okay. It's Black Friday. I don't want to cause any problems as the district manager. I mean, we're trying to be fully staffed as it is because it's Christmas time, right? Holiday time. I don't want to mess up the manager's situation. The manager, her name's Pat. She's looking at me because she's back behind the counter and she's kind of watching to see what I'm doing because she's nervous that I'm there. Anyway, this kid comes back up front, standing next to me. I'm like, Johnny, I'm like, what's your deal? What's your problem? You're supposed to be in a video. Why are you up here? Now I'm getting irritated, right? And he says, well, this lady approached me and she's looking for this particular song. And I said, okay, great. This is a music store. We had music and videos. I said, okay, well, I'm pretty sure that is in the R&B section over in the CDs. Go over there and that's where it's at. I told him who the artist was of this particular song. So he takes the customer over. Comes back up front, comes up to me. He goes, hey man, he goes, you just don't know your music very well, do you? I'm like, okay, this kid, I'm the district manager, right? I'm like 3 levels up from this kid. And he's kind of smart enough to me. He's like, you don't know your music very well, do you? And he's just looking at me and I'm thinking, okay, you want me to fire you, don't you? That's what I'm thinking in my head. I don't say anything. I'm just looking at this kid like, all right, what's going on here? Are you trying to get in trouble? Like, what are you doing? So I'm looking at him, studying the situation. This is all going through my head. He's looking at me. We're kind of just standing there. And this is what I say. I shit you not. This is a true story. This is what I said. This is 1996. I said, Johnny, you really don't want to work here, do you? This is what he does. He looks at me and he goes, not really. I'm not joking you. That's exactly how it went. And I said, okay. Well, why don't you follow me to the back? So this kid, I kind of grab him by the arm and I'm taking him to the back room. And Pat, the manager, she's behind the counter across the store. She's looking at me. She's like, what? She's kind of got this look on her face. What's going on? There's music playing. There's a bunch of people in the store. We can't talk to each other. She can't hear me. I can't hear her, but she's looking at me like, what the hell's going on? I take this kid to the back. And I said, okay, well, listen, I'm glad you decided you don't want to work here anymore. Listen, I just need you to fill out this paperwork real quick. I'm trying to like dig in the store manager's desk and find the paperwork to terminate this guy. You know, I don't really know where the paperwork is because it's not my office. I'm fumbling around. I'm trying to find the stuff. Pat's busy. She can't come to the back. You know, I turn my back on this kid and I turn back around with the papers and he's got his shirt off. He took his shirt off and he's doing like a Hulk pose, you know, like I'm gonna try to like, you know, he's kind of put it, he's doing this, right? He's doing a Hulk pose with his shirt off. And I'm going, I'm just kind of go, okay, Johnny. Yeah, it's going to be all right, man. Listen, I just need you to sign these papers. And then right about that time, Pat comes in the back room and she sees him. He's got his shirt off. He's doing his muscle pose. She's looking at me. I'm looking at her. And I'm like, Pat, I'm like, you might want to call security. Because Small had security, you know. So she runs out, calls security, and he's standing there. I was like, Johnny, it's going to be all right, man. Just calm down. I just need you to fill this paperwork out. All right. Now, this is where, okay, that's the funny part of the story. Now is where it turns a little bit serious. He starts crying. He just starts bawling, changes moods right away. Like he just changes characters. Like all of a sudden, he's a completely different person within seconds. Starts crying, changes his body, sits down in a chair, and starts saying stuff like, you know, I'm sorry, didn't mean to hurt anybody, blah, blah, blah. That's when I knew that, wow, okay, this is a different situation. At first I thought the kid was just an asshole, but now I'm starting to realize that, whoa, this is actually some major problems here. I terminate the kid. He fill out the paperwork. I'm like, look, the mall security comes, they make him put on his shirt, they walk him out. You know, that's it. And he leaves. He's terminated. Here's the lesson for me, right? As a younger middle manager at the time, because I didn't handle it very well. Like I should have right then said, oh, wow, okay, this person actually needs real professional help. Not that we're required to give that as an employer at the time, I don't think. But anyway, I wasn't an HR professional. I didn't know all the rules, but I didn't do anything. The point is I did nothing. I did nothing further to help the kid. Well, somebody from Human Resources did call me from the corporate office the next day. And they're like, you know, the short of that conversation was them basically saying, what the hell? Like, you know, first of all, you should have terminated the kid on the spot. You should have talked to us. You should have, you know, got some counseling on it, coaching. We could have helped you help him. Right. And because they just, you know, the lesson that I learned there was that this young man really needed professional help, and we probably could have helped him more as a company, and I could have helped him more as a district manager, et cetera. What's my point of all of this for this episode, and how does this tie to Riderflex? I do think there are employees, job candidates, et cetera, out there that have real challenges, some real mental health challenges. I've seen it a bunch now in my career. I just gave you one particular story. If you come across it as a supervisor, don't just terminate people, you know, unless you're in a, I encourage you to help them is my point. Don't just walk away from it. Don't just terminate them on the spot. Don't just kind of brush it off and remove that person from the situation or remove them from your life, so to speak, to where you don't have to think about it. Try to do something to help them further, because I do think people really need help. They do. And a lot of people can be helped with the right professional attention, medication, et cetera. And they can end up being good employees, productive employees. Who knows? If I would have done the right thing that day and gotten the right help from HR and handled that situation differently, who knows? Maybe that kid could have ended up being a great employee. He could have got some professional help, got some medication. Maybe he would have been great. Instead, I kind of blew that up because I didn't even give him a chance. And so that's the point of the episode, is when you come across that situation, you see people in need from some mental or emotional challenges, think twice before you just pull the trigger and terminate somebody like I did that day, and try to help them. And there is your Riderflex tip of the day.